Many thanks for joining us on this edition of Stop the Accidents, a platform where together with you and all stakeholders we look at issue of safety across board in our country. Our aim to prevent and reduce accident and in essence reduce and prevent mortalities arising from this accident. I am Kunle Aborushade. A great show we have for you in the next 30 minutes and let me let you know that today we are looking at the issue of domestic staff safety at home. Domestic staff and safety at home. I mean, you leave your kids at home with maybe your domestic staff and all of that, and you go to work. Do you train those staff at home to be sure that while you are out of the home, accidents do not happen? And our safety analyst is already here in our studio. Monica also will take a look at all of these issues and give you tips that will make sure that while you are at work or wherever you have traveled to, you can be rest assured that all is well at home. Plus, it took us by surprise as he stole it into our studio, the sector commander of Lagos State FRSC is already also here, Agnes Omeje. Later on in the show, will also join us to give us some safety tips. It's all about safety. It's all about preventing the accident. It's all about preventing the mortalities. That's why we are here. We'll be right back. His life is direct from NTA Lagos. It's a Stop the Accident. Wherever you are watching us, maybe on Star Times, all across the country, our aim, our objective is to reduce accident in our country and reduce numbers of fatalities. We want everybody to be safe, isn't it? Monica Amusu is already here. Our safety analyst, welcome back.
Thank you.
You look good. You look radiant.
Thank you.
And where you are talking this afternoon about domestic staff and the safety, right?
Yes.
Domestic staff
yes.
in the homes, because like I said, you leave your kids. You leave all of them in the hands of your domestic staff. You go to work, you travel, and all of that. You need to be sure that those staff that you've ensured your children to know what to do, isn't it?
Very well. Okay. In fact, over 70-80% of Nigerians, the employers, the employees, we all spend close to 8 hours, 5 days in a week at work.
Yeah.
And most of the time while we are at work, someone is there at home minding our loved ones, our kids, our elderly ones, or the people at home. And these people, while they are minding our kids at home, they need to be aware of some basic home safety. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about security, because that's where we are all very conscious about. Kidnapping our children. Yes, fine. That's also very important. That we don't want them to, we don't want that the children are exposed to issues. Of course, you do a lot of background check of your domestic staff. Okay. You do a lot of all of those kind of verification of their information to be sure that yes, the people that are minding your kids are actually
because a lot of people don't do that. They just bring somebody to you, say, can you do this, and all that, and you just start work, and there is not even a health check on them. There is no background information, all of those things.
Even when they do the background check and the people resume at home and they are working for us at home, the tendency is that they don't understand some basic home safety thing is there. So we just want to look at what are the things they need to understand while they are at home.
Okay.
Remember, you are not at home.
Okay.
Remember that for the greater part of the day, of the week, you are not at home. These people are the ones at home. So you need to be sure that your home is safe and your loved ones are safe while you are at work. So that's what we are looking at today on Stop the Accidents.
Fantastic. So the first thing is check the background of the domestic staff. Having done that now, they need some basic training as to what to do while they are in the house taking care of our loved ones. So let's move quickly and identify those basic things that they should know quickly.
Okay, so let's quickly start.
Okay.
Do they really understand where there are exits in your home? Do you have emergency exits, and do they understand that these are the emergency exits? And basically, at least there must be two clearly known and clearly marked, even if not marked, of course, at home, but must be clearly known to your domestic staff that this is the exit way. In case there is anything, this is the way. And the emergency exit must not be blocked, because sometimes we have the emergency exit maybe at the kitchen door, and they are all blocked with several things because of proper
bags of rice.
Yes, bags of rice. A lot of things are blocking this emergency exit, and then the keys, and the door is locked up, and the key is nowhere to be found.
Nobody knows where those keys are.
The keys are nowhere to be found, and when there's an emergency, the domestic staff or the help may understand that this is where I'm supposed to take, but because of that confusion, that moment, they may not be able to know quickly what to do if that emergency exit is not free of some things that would block it and all of that. Then secondly, we need to understand, fire is one of the commonest home accidents that we can encounter either at the kitchen, because most of them spend a lot of their time in the kitchen, and majority of the time when this accident occur, it could be at your kitchen.
Okay.
One of the commonest type of accident occurring in your kitchen is due to maybe unattended cooking.
Yeah.
Someone is cooking, and for one thing or the other had forgotten, and all of that. So the question I want to quickly put across is, do we have fire extinguishers at home?
Okay.
And then if we have fire extinguishers at home, do our domestic staff, do they know how to operate these fire extinguishers? Do they know how to use these fire extinguishers? That's a very important question. And if they don't know, one of the things this show is geared to do is creating awareness that there's a need for you to know, and also there's a need for the domestic staff to be aware.
So fire extinguishers must be provided in the home. That's number one. And the domestic staff must be taught how to use them.
Must be taught how to use them. And also these fire extinguishers should also be checked periodically
to be sure they are still functioning.
At least 6 months. 6 monthly, they must be checked.
Okay, twice a year. Check the fire extinguishers, and because we want to be specific. 1, 2, 3, the things you need to do. Don't just buy the fire extinguishers and just mount them. You must check them minimum twice a year. You must train the domestic staff how to use them, because they are useless if you are out of the house, there is fire, and she doesn't know or he doesn't know how to use them.
Now, talking about training, Kule, I actually had a personal experience, and it was a very, very, I don't want to use the word exciting situation, but for me, the experience was so real that it comes very, very, very quickly to mind.
Yeah.
I happened to train my domestic staff and some of my neighbors' domestic staff on the use of fire extinguishers.
Okay.
We just installed the fire extinguishers around the homes, and we trained these people on how to use the fire extinguisher. Lo and behold, the week after the training, there was a fire incident in my neighbor's house.
Oh dear.
Of course, one of the commonest way the fire always occur at home is through faulty connection.
Okay.
The AC caught fire, and the girl was able to use the fire extinguisher to fight the fire, and she was alone at home.
Really?
She was all alone at home.
Okay.
And she was able to use. So when we came back,
because she has been trained.
Just 1 week after the training, because she had been trained, she was able to fight that fire alone. And so she called on phone, and then before we rushed to the house,
Because before backup
the
came,
fire was
she had already taken.
I was already arrested.
Okay, so we will continue to pinpoint those safety tips at home, but well, Monica, we will have to come back next week. You know, we've done 1 and 2 now. You have to come back next week because, well, we have another guest who is going to discuss another issue with us. But this is extremely important. Your final thoughts for this part 1 before you go.
Okay, the final thought for this part 1 before I go, hopefully next week we would delve more into it and all of that,
Okay.
is for us to know that accidents occur more at home than even at work. National Safety Council, that's where I got this statistics from. The accidents we experience at home, slips and trips are in the toilet, around the kitchen, around the staircases, around the swimming areas and all of that. So this creates room for enough of awareness for us to be very conscious of the fact that because this happens, there's a need for us to begin to look inward, not just only looking at safety in the offices, occupational health and safety, but also looking at safety at home.
Okay.
And then finally, on a final thought, I want to ask this very simple question. The domestic staff that is with you at home right now, do they know your details?
Okay.
Do they understand the basic emergency number to call in case there's emergency? Because they could call you while you're at work and they are not able to reach you immediately.
All right.
Do they know the emergency number to call?
We will dwell more on all of these issues that you have raised, accidents everywhere in the home, from the National Safety Council, so many accidents right there in our homes, okay, and they need to be addressed properly. We expect you next week, Monica, to finish this up, this very important topic, and we take 1 or 2 phone calls from our viewers, to check all of this. Thanks so much for coming. All right, well, it's Stop the Accident.